we went for a burger and a beer.
Yeah.
Burger and beer sounds as British as it gets.
Pretty
very nice.
spectacular, if you ask me. This is good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, very interested to hear from you both today. So we have Benjamin Roos from Open-Xchange, not very well executed there at all.
That's all good.
And Sascha Zucca from FUAGO.
FUAGO.
FUAGO. We'll do a test at the end, okay? And your topic today, would you like to introduce it?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Well, now you've caught me.
The evolution of domain names and email.
The evolution of domain names and email. So, very interesting topic and important, especially after our questions. I'm not sure if you heard right before lunch, there was a conversation about the importance of email. So, first, could you each introduce yourselves a bit, just a brief background, as well as perhaps your company?
Sure. I'm Ben. I work as a sales manager for Open-Xchange, and my job is to grow relationships with the leading hosting providers all over the world by offering industry-leading email to supplement domain names and their other services.
Hi everyone, I'm Sascha Zucca, COO of FUAGO. We're a leading distribution for open source solutions based in Germany, but acting pretty much worldwide.
Excellent, thank you both. So, do you want to talk a little further about the Open-Xchange and FUAGO businesses, or do you want to jump right in? Yeah?
Sure.
Okay.
A little bit more background on Open-Xchange would be good, I think. We're a global leader in email services, specifically open source email. We have over 220 million users globally. We're known for carrier-grade installations with Telco, but we also work with many of the world's leading hosting providers. We also offer two of the other world's leading open source products, both PowerDNS and Dovecot, the world's largest IMAP server.
Thank you. I have a question. Am I just old, or I'm having a little trouble hearing? Can you in the audience hear, or should we get that door closed? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, shut them off.
Christian Voss from CEDO. Oh, they closed the door behind you. Thank you.
I can go on introducing. As a leading distribution, as I said before, our customership is pretty much mid-sized and smaller companies like telcos, hosters, providers of any kind. And we provide them with many open source solutions, among them, of course, Open-Xchange. And we try to be the one-shop solution for them because we find it really important for them to be that they can be taken by the hand and from the first kickoff workshop in the project to the last config review before going live. That's what we do, and we try to take a good partnership with them so they can have good revenues because we only have revenues that they have. But what we think of FUAGO, when we think of FUAGO, is actually we're the long missing link, the long missing interface between customers and open source solutions around that we provide. So since 6 years we're pretty successful in that.
Wonderful. Okay. There's been a lot of evolution in this business. How has this specifically evolved, the email market, for hosting providers?
So previously, hosting providers would bundle email as a value add together with hosting packages, though I think there's a marked shift in the business today to begin offering email standalone and to begin charging for email. But in order to do so, it's important to offer premium service with premium features, whereas in the past, when bundling email for free, hosting providers would look to the cheapest possible solutions like Roundcube as a UI, or may use cPanel email, which is very basic and comes with problems. And that leads to challenges maintaining an email platform, including challenges with Avast, with problems with spam, and also costs with maintenance. So by moving to charging for email, you can profit dramatically and also not make it a cost center, which is just hungry for resources.
Helpful to hear. I just heard, comes with, and you expect like a packaging, comes with problems.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a significant switch towards cloud services, not only for mails, also for video conferencing and stuff like that. So because I'm doing this for like 25 years now, and we had a lot of on-premises that we catered and provided with licensing and stuff. So that was easy back then. I mean, they had a mail server, they had people running it, and it was a good service and a good takeaway business. But that's not like that anymore, because it's the efforts that have to be taken are much higher now. As an example, the big players like Google and Microsoft, they continuously change the rule sets for antivirus and anti-spam, for example. And that's good. I mean, that's a good thing to do. But for providers that still run their own mail servers, that means they have to adjust their rules every single day, and that's a lot of work. And this is the one thing, and then you have to make sure that the service is still top-notch, which is also a hard thing to do, because there's lots of updates, lots of new features that you want to run in, and so we've seen a significant change in their mindset. And I'm saying this as a person living in Germany and working in Germany, I mean, based in Germany. We had a really hard time convincing German companies going from on-premise to Cloud or to other cloud services. Why? Because we have this history. They have this, that they're really restrict to things going into the cloud. But even there, we see a good movement now. And that describes it the best, I think, that it's something really changing.
Well, I'm interested to hear you mention Microsoft and Google, because they are such, standard recognized brands for email. Tell us a little more about how Open-Xchange is differentiated from them, why a hosting provider would choose over that, and how. Yeah, tell me more about that.
So we're really the antithesis of Google and Microsoft, which are proprietary technologies, and we're proudly open source. And the reason that a hosting provider would choose the preference of working with Open-Xchange is because our services are entirely white label, and they own that customer relationship. We're not going to market any services to them or to try to take that customer. I've heard here at this conference this week that when partners have offered Google have taken that mail relationship direct, and we'd never do that. So we provide a completely white label email experience, as well as being proudly open source.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I want to add a very important thing to that. It's data sovereignty, which might not be that interesting to every one of you, but we have lots of customers that are actually able to create data sovereign, privacy-driven, GDPR compliant at 100% tools for their customers. With this being a unique selling point to them. So that's something that works better in Germany than probably in the UK, I don't know, but that doesn't matter. I think it's still a good selling point for our customers. That's a really important thing. We're talking about open source, so whatever it does, you can look up in the source code. So that's great. So it'll never do anything evil unless you get to know it. That's good. And the other thing, it's more of a soft skill, really, but we're real people. That's, sounds like, logic, but that's what we are. And all our customers, could name a few, I won't, they can come back to us at any time if they have any problems. So if their business is not running well, or if there's any issues with the software that we've been providing to them, they can come up to us and they can ask me, the COO, something, or the CEO of FUAGO or Open-Xchange the same, and try to fix things together, because that's our DNA. Very important thing. We're open source, always been. I've never done anything else. And the community was one of the key features of open source, and this is what we're bringing on to the businesses.
Thank you. Did one of you mention CMC? What does that stand for, and how does that help?
Yeah, so one of the other big differentiators from Google and Microsoft is the administrative tools that we provide to our partners, and one of those is the CMC. We continue to invest in industry-leading UI and customer experience, and as part of that, we also provide an industry-leading administrative console, the Cloud Management Center, a typical OX acronym. And within that admin panel, you can look at the customer's usage, the storage amount, look at Avast settings, whitelisting, blacklisting, and also valuable business intelligence analytics. But we continue to invest in the evolution of that product feature as well, including the ability to add theming and branding to all of your customers. Previously, that was only available through the API, the dynamic theming API, but now any marketeer or administrative staff can go into the CMC and add branding and theming to any customer. And beyond that, we also follow an upsell strategy or help our customers to drive revenue through upsell. And we've added a feature called broadcasting. So you can promote through the webmail UI any service to your customer at any time. And this is powerful because the customers are always opening their email on a day-to-day basis, but not necessarily going into their control panel or dashboard. And you can perhaps offer a domain promo or a hosting promo, and always be able to reach your customers and drive further revenue with the email UI as a vehicle.
Yeah, what we hear from our customers at FUAGO is that the CMC comes handy, especially for their support team. It's such a great tool for the support teams of our customers because they can, have a look at the email addressing question and see if there's any filter rules or any block lists, allow lists that come in between, or something, the usual suspects. And you can just have a look and see what happens in about a minute. And this is so helpful for the support team. It makes life so much easier for them. That's a key feature to our customers. And also the report tools in the CMC. You can, if you want to, you can have a daily look at how your services, how they work, what people actually use and what they don't use, why they use it. You see that all there. There's graphs for pretty much everything, really. And but that's another thing that they quite like. Yeah.
Thank you. So something I really appreciate about panels like this are when I, as an end user, just have some assumptions of what I think from my experiences or my circle's experiences. So I have some assumptions of what I think are the challenges that hosting providers face and why they may or may not choose to outsource email. But, and I assume everyone in this room has had those types of problems themselves or feels like that's like they have a little experience in that. Could you give us maybe both a fuller look at that and also perhaps anything newer that's developed that we may not know about?
Sure. So managing an email platform is challenging. The maintenance and updating of the platform, it can be resource hungry from both staffing, power, and hosting, and updating the storage, for example, and maintaining Avast. There's lots to be considered when maintaining an email platform. And with that comes a plethora of different reasons to consider outsourcing. So a hoster may present challenges with Avast and not like managing email anymore because it's not a core product, or they may have antiquated storage that they wish to move to a cloud solution, or equally they may have expensive storage where it makes more commercial sense to outsource to a partner with a cloud solution. But as the aforementioned at the beginning point that I made, they may wish to drive more revenue through email, and in order to justify doing so, you need to partner with a company that delivers a premium product that's continuing to invest in the product and its feature set, and a feature set that continues to evolve and move with the times and move with the market, but not charge for a service which is based on free open source software like Roundcube, because customers are wise to this.
I think I said it before. I mean, the efforts that have to be taken for a mail provider or a provider of something that wants to upsell mail on it something, they have been growing, constantly, and the cost for storage for human resources have gone up, dramatically. So this is one reason why people would go to cloud and outsourced offerings, and the side effect of it is that you have on the one side, you have a transparent calculation base again to what is your costs. And you have the best toply updated software for your customers, which is very, very important for your reputation, I think. I mean, a service provider that has mail servers that are not really up to date today cannot really prosper. And in this case, you have like two things that you really have to consider when being a provider, and they're all solved. So that's really important and good.
Okay, the question everyone's been waiting for. Microsoft has Teams. Sorry. Yeah, Microsoft has Teams. I got really worried there. Google has Hangouts and Meetings. What do you got?
Yeah, so we're looking to close the gap with Teams, and as part of that, adding video conferencing is absolutely a must. At the moment, we've deployed with a number of partners on-premise, everything from Jitsi to Cisco, but we continue from an Cloud perspective to investigate the best possible video conferencing software. And that's kind of at the MVP stage at the moment, but we want to find the best product to allow our partners to upsell it as a value add, and to close the gaps to Teams to be able to give a white label solution together with email, our productivity suite, our Drive, and video conferencing. So we'll seek to find the best possible video conferencing and offer that as an upsell together with Cloud.
Any chance there's a timeline on that, or a wish list timeline?
Best guess, probably midway through next year, Q2 next year.
That's not super far away.
Yeah. I mean, we at FUAGO already have the brilliant OpenTalk on board. So we have a video conferencing tool that is available for on-premise hosting as well as for cloud solutions, searchers. And it's brilliant because it's really an alternative to Zoom and to Teams. And you know what? Guess what? Sorry. It's all data privacy driven. It's open source. It's GDPR compliant at the max. And this is what we do for a living. We like giving you alternatives. And by the way, it's family. It's from our dear friends from Heinlein in Berlin. I don't know if anybody knows them. They do a tremendous job at mailbox.org in Germany. Good provider, very good, with Ox. And they recreated this video conferencing tool from scratch to have a scalable and feature-rich alternative to those. And I do insist, every time I see the guys from Open-Xchange, I do insist that, come on, get your hats together, put it somewhere, because obviously for FUAGO it will be incredibly important to have it integrated in Open-Xchange, because when Open-Xchange customers ask for video conferencing, we now have to put them another, set up some other service for them, which wouldn't be the case if it just would be integrated. So yeah, I insist again, Ben.
Well, keep voicing that to the product management team for sure.
So you mentioned some friends, and we're all friends here at the show, and there are a number from the telecom industry. So tell us how Open-Xchange delivers and has relationships there.
Sure. So my focus is specifically the hosting providers, but we come from delivering carrier-grade installations to telco, and we have a team responsible for that, and I'd be glad to introduce any telecommunications providers to that team and to Stuart Payton. And we get one great example is Orange, French Telecom, that have 36 million mailboxes on our platform, which speaks to the scalability of Open-Xchange.
Wow.
Yeah, we do have some smaller telcos in our FUAGO customership, and what they tell me is that it is so easy to have that on-top product in their bundles. That's something, that's a key feature to them. They don't want to have too much work with that, because that's just a side piece of thing inside the bundle. But still, I think they need to have it because they'd be outstanding to the others. And they're all happy with it.
Good. Well, let's hear a little about Open-Xchange's offering for mobile users. And I'm just going to throw in there, since you gave us a teaser on video conferencing, tell us if you have any other innovation in the works with regards to mobile users.
Sure. So we know that much of the world is mobile first when it comes to the internet, and equally the next generation of digital natives demand the best quality mobile experience. So we continue to invest in the best possible mobile experience for Ox users. Previously, that meant keeping up with iOS and Android and having brandable applications for the various different facets of Open-Xchange: email, calendar, drive, document editing. And that meant having to keep up with separate white label applications for all of our partners. So instead, we're moving to having a progressive web app, or Ox Mobile App Suite, which will house all of these different features and functions within one white label hybrid mobile app, which is a hybrid between a browser and a classic mobile application. I think Google follows this strategy as well. And as I mentioned, the dynamic theming that's available both through API and through the CMC for all of our customers and the customers of our customers, the mobile experience will inherit all of the branding, their themes, and their logos.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the PWA is a long-awaited release, and it's going to be released Q1, what did you say? Something? Yeah, let's say Q1, come on.
I'm glad you asked the question. I was waiting.
Yeah, I mean, it's long awaited. Since the beginning of FUAGO, this was the first question that I heard. Is there an app to put it all together and use on the mobiles? And yeah, there has always been an app which was available to the bigger companies that are, want to pay for individual software that will be in the App Center, but this was a no-go for the smaller and mid-sized. And besides, that was a lot of hassle until that worked. And nowadays, with the PWA, of course, the customers will create their CI in Open-Xchange and have the app ready with the CI already. So that's changing the game completely a bit. But besides that, even if you don't want to wait, I may be old-fashioned, but I use IMAP, CutDoff, and CalDoff to synchronize my native tools on mobiles, and it works good, really. Never had any issues. So that's, as I said, may be old-fashioned, not the fancy thing, but it still works. It works really good.
25 years in open source. I don't think your definition of old-fashioned is the same as mine.
I feel like a prophet sometimes.
Okay, so we can't talk about changes without talking about AI. So I'll throw in AI or other. What changes are coming to email in general? How do you think the industry is going to change in the next couple of years?
So AI brings with it great opportunities for automation and improved productivity. And we at Ox were proud to be the first email provider to integrate AI. And we showcased that.
The first, before Microsoft or Google.
We were the first, to the best of my knowledge, according to our product
I didn't
team.
mean that as a question. I meant that as a brag moment.
Yeah, I believe that we showcased at CloudFest earlier this year and provided demos. And if anyone would like a demo of our AI integration, I'll be able to provide it at the booth following the presentation. And this brings powerful changes for email, of course. It brings the ability to summarize either an email or a thread on the fly. So if you're running between meetings and you want to catch the gist of a conversation with the person you're meeting, you can summarize any communications. It also brings a next generation of translation into any language, and not translate like Google Translate word for word, but translation like working with a true interpreter and true translator into a given language, understanding slang, colloquialisms, and grasping the true meaning of what's being put forward in that email. But of course, most powerfully of all is the ability to generate an automated response instantly based on a number of parameters, whether that be a positive email of acceptance or a rejecting email or a thankful email or an angry email. It might be any of those parameters, and it could be short or long, and the system will generate that automatically. I think this is already starting to be adopted, I guess, by some of the enterprise industry. I saw in broadcast news that a leading energy provider in the UK had implemented AI responses in their call center, and that led to dramatic improvement in productivity and response time, but also dramatic improvement in the CSAT, the customer satisfaction scores. And I believe for Ox customers and the customers of our customers that this can have the same positive effects on the productivity and the speed at which they operate their business, but also the CSAT scores and NPS scores and the customer satisfaction. So it has, a great evolution coming with AI, and we're really proud to have already implemented this.
Congratulations, and thank you.
Yeah, I mean, since they showcased it on CloudFest this year, we had some kind of response from our customers. It was actually incredibly positive. We still have some, did I say that I'm data privacy driven a bit? I still have my concerns with the solution that has been used for AI integration, but I'm still very sure that those guys will figure out how to put that in a good and correct way. And yeah, of course, it's a tempting feature. I mean, it would help so much every day to just be able to summarize things, and you would be so much faster and more accurate in what you do, really. So yeah, obviously, I would pretty much use it every day.
So some of the most successful hosting providers follow an upsell methodology.
Yeah, so upsell is in the DNA of Oxcloud, and it's already being used by global leading hosting providers. In the first iteration in today's web UI, you have triggers to upsell based on storage usage or movement between packages based on security features or productivity features like the app suite that I mentioned. But we continue to understand the desire to offer improvements to drive revenue through email, and we're moving to behavioral upsell. So this is where we'll use AI within our email web UI to look at the behavior of the customer. So if they're getting a lot of spam, we might offer a security package. Or if they're adding a lot of attachments, we might suggest using the drive facility with greater storage, because within Open-Xchange, you can attach a file of any size using a drive, not just the 25 or 35 megabyte limit, but with a gigabyte, and use the drive and send a link. So yeah, using the behavioral upsell, this allows our customers to continue to drive more revenue through email and shows that we continue investing in the product's evolution.
Yeah, we're really eagerly awaiting the addition of that, because that's something big again. But with our customers, I can already say that the opportunities of putting triggers everywhere in the software is all there. You just have to configure it as it. And all the triggers can be anywhere and can do upsell and do ka-ching in your billing system, very easily. That is something, probably one of the most selected features from our providers and from our customers. That's really why they are with us, because they can increase their revenues without having to think too much about it. It's all automatic, and that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Organic growth is great for our customers.
Yeah, very well thought out. What do you see as the big opportunity for hosting providers with email today?
Well, in a word, revenue, rather than bundling as a value-add service and a cost to the business, drive revenue through email, begin charging for email, charge per mailbox. And the customers that have adopted this strategy are seeing tremendous increases in revenue overnight, because customers are willing to pay to maintain an email service that they use, because they value the communications that they hold within the emails that they've already had, and they value the impact, the positive impact having branded email does for their company. So begin charging for a valuable service, and that's the great opportunity here, to drive revenue through email.
Yeah, completely agree here. They can nowadays sell mailboxes, which wasn't the case back then. They always had those freemiums, and it wasn't, nothing really to think too much about it. But nowadays, you can really make revenues with email if you do it in a good way. If you're not doing what everybody else does, if you think about your services and try to configure them in a way that would fit your customers, because you always know your customers much better than anybody else. So that's something you can do with Open-Xchange, OpenTalk, and all the others that we have in our portfolio, because it's open source. Again, it's like easy.
Easy, I like that. So we have lots of domain registrars in the audience. Let's take a moment and give a shout out. Why would the domain registrars want to include email in their product line?
Email's the most logical service or product for a registrar to adopt after domains, of course, because it's the first thing that any registrant looks for. That means that you can sell email and attach it to a domain and increase your average revenue per user and increase your annual revenues. But the other thing that every registrar is focused on is the renewal rate and the retention of the business. And by attaching the most sticky product, the email service, the customer values having a branded email associated to their domain, and they'll keep their business with you.
Well, to me, it looks like the most natural and logical takeaway business for a registrar, really, because it's there. I mean, unless you have to take care too much about it, because you have to put something up for it. Unless you don't do that, it's easy, and then you should take that business with you. Just it's there, and why not do it?
And how does an email address add value to a domain name?
So for an SMB, for the customer, a registrar or hoster, it provides legitimacy for a business. It provides brand recognition. It's the first thing you need when you get your domain. And I think about the fact that we've got quite a few domainers in the audience, and I try to think about where an email can provide value for a domainer. The first thought was that if you have a domain that you have for sale with a park page, why not have a customized email address so that anyone who's interested in purchasing that premium domain can use an email associated to that address, and you know that that's an interested buyer, perhaps.
I think you said it all here, because what else could I add? I mean, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, so I have nothing to add, really.
I like to brag when someone asks my email address and I say tess@it.com. Instant,
Nice.
Acknowledgement. You get a little, yeah, it does. Yeah, adds credibility.
That's a great email.
I agree. So let's see if the audience has any questions.
Oh, there's someone there.
Hello, my name is Rex. I'm 20